You're listening to Tom and Zeus on Shout It Out Loud podcast. Rock and roll. This was Tracy Guns playing really bad acoustic guitar.
Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. I like it.
The year is 1992. The album is Dirt by Alice in Chains. Welcome to episode 70 of the Album Review Crew, where we are going to discuss a seminal album in the history of grunge and one of the darkest and heaviest albums to come out of that era. Soon we're going to be joined by the great Matt Pinfield. But for now, Zeus, it's just me and you.
Yeah, Tom. So I'm excited to hit this album, but let's go back and go through the feedback we got on Ozzy's Ultimate Sin with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, a lot of feedback on that one here. We got a couple comments here. We got buddy Nige. I know this album gets criticized, but I think that's more a reaction to the awesome 3-album run that came before it. Personally, I love it. Shot in the Dark is a top 10 80s hair metal song for me. Looking forward to listening to this one, guys. Saint Van Halen says, underrated album. Vet Halen has a request, Zeus. He says, hey, Zeus, never stop saying appetite for destruction. No matter how many times I hear it, I still laugh.
And I'm so immature that I keep saying it. So we're in the same boat, buddy.
Of course. Party Man says, I was great being 15 back then and seeing his videos on MTV. In a time where Kiss no longer were the top guys in makeup and hard rock metal dominated the regular charts. Awesome album from start to finish for me. A feel-good one. Okay. Aggie Dad and Tiger Grad says, with the Dawkins and Rat references made in this podcast, check this out. And he did one of these things where he like merges the songs Shot in the Dark and Unchain the Night. I usually don't like that kind of stuff, but it's actually fucking awesome. Oh, and then of course he chimes in with the shitbow comment that's still lingering from the Rainbow episode.
Is this another shitbow review?
Yeah. Chrono says, I'm curious that if this is Jericho's third favorite Ozzy album, what his full rankings are. Well, I don't want to speak for Jericho, but I'm assuming it's Diary and Blizzard and then this, I would assume. I would hope for Jericho's sake, but I don't want to speak for him. But Zeus, that's what we got in the world of Twitter this month for Ozzy.
All right, let's go to Facebook, our page there. Jason Alba says, Secret Loser is a banger.
It is.
Love the song in the Wraith movie with Charlie Sheen. Don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad movie.
Bob Reedy says, great album. Shot in the Dark is an amazing song. And then we got a couple more people with, oh, yeah, this is great. This is great. So let's go over to Loudcasters. Jason Herden says, his best. Brilliant record from Jake and Bob, except for Shot in the Dark, of course. What?
His best?
Yeah, we each have our opinion.
I know. That's okay.
Chris Deese writes, it was my fat-fingered self who posted anonymously last month. Hit the wrong button. Couldn't figure out how to undo it. Sorry about that. It's all good. It's all good.
Fat finger.
Joseph Collins adds, awesome episode, guys. I don't know about the rest of the songs. My top 4, Never, Ultimate Sin, and Shot in the Dark, and Secret Loser. Never is just awesome. Great riffs, great vocals. The Ultimate Sin is great because of the late Randy Castillo on drums.
Nice.
Joe Decker, tremendously underrated album. My third favorite Ozzy album after Diary and Blizzard. This was my jumping off point with Ozzy. Sorry, I can't do the Zach albums at all. While I love George and Warren, I agree with Chris that Jake's playing his head and shoulders above. I agree that the album track listens make no sense. In my opinion, side 2 should have been side 1 and vice versa. Then it makes complete sense. Great pick, Patreons.
Okay.
Daniel Corker writes, shitting on Poison within the first 2 minutes.
I forgot about that.
Jakey Lee truly doesn't get enough credit for his career, both with and without Ozzy. He has the sound of the 80s that kept Ozzy popular and good replacement for Randy.
Yep.
Joey Stubble Chin fucking Romanek. Chris Jericho is my favorite ARC guest, even though he big timed me when I met him outside of Comic-Con in Tampa 15 years ago.
Oh, my God.
Dude, what were you like 15 years ago?
Ugh.
You know, I used to be a real headbanger in high school, Jericho. I used to listen to Armored Saint.
I wear rock clothes.
I was what you would call a headbanger. Rex Jaycock says, this episode of ARC was fantastic. My first introduction to Ozzy was this album. The cover was great, and the ass was perfect. Absolutely right. Oh, no. John Whiteman.
Oh, boy.
Secret loser is what I feel like when I listen to other Kiss podcasts. Oh, boy.
Ouch.
Frank Anzalone. Another great episode. Always love it when you guys have Jericho on. This was the first Ozzy album I bought and still love cranking it on vinyl. I've told this story before. I bought this in turbo at the same time.
Of course he did.
I was in the 7th grade. Therefore, the next logical ARC pick should be not turbo. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Izzy Presley writes, Tora is fucking amazing. You must have taken a shot at them.
Well, we always do. I took a shot at somebody this episode, too. You'll hear it later.
Josh Brown adds, about 3 songs in, and all I can think of soon we're going to have a sound clip of Jericho saying, Tom, what a piece of shit that guy is. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
Michael Murphy, good episode. I was going to come on here and write some mediocre, forgettable comment about an otherwise mediocre and forgettable album.
Ooh.
But you guys never heard of Margin Call before Zeus stumbled upon it? Such a great flick. I think that was my, what do you call it, pick? Yeah, that movie is great. It's fantastic.
Okay.
I think that was my You Make Me Rock Hard, Tom.
Who said that? Who's backing you up there?
Mike Murphy.
Okay, nice.
Daniel Holler Houston, great episode, guys. I'm an Aussie tard, 100%. Would have commented earlier, but my dad passed away. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer. Sorry about that, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. Good
Our
God.
condolences. And was dealing with that. My dad was a 60s jazz guy who thought rock music was goofy. And when I got into Ozzy, he was initially freaked out. The guy that bites the heads of bats? But I had the ultimate Ozzy VHS and watched it all the time. And my dad popped in the room and says, who's the fat guy in the Liberace outfit?
That's
when
amazing.
I told him it was Ozzy, he laughed and went, well, if you want to like this, knock yourself out.
Oh, that's amazing.
Just exactly like Susan does when George asks for a prenup agreement.
Yeah, go ahead. I make more than you.
After that, he even let me wear an Ultimate Sin shirt to a First Communion Mass for my mom's grade school class.
Oh, no.
Anyways, Jake rules. Love this record. Great job, dude. That's a great story.
Great stuff. Great
story.
stuff. And sorry for your loss, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Tom, I'm going to go over to your favorite, Blue Sky.
Okay.
Garker, BSK Social. G Harker. I don't know what the fuck this is. I hate when they do this with these handles.
Oh, yeah.
Criticism were fair, but like Jericho, I've lived with this album since it came out. One of my favorites. Dude, I like the album. I had it when it came out, too. So I think he's pointing to you, buddy.
Oops.
Yeah, it's all right. Over on YouTube, Gen X Jace, perfect guess, Jericho. Definitely one of my favorite Ozzy albums. Proud to have voted for this for the ARC pick. Yeah, I love it when people like actually say, yep, that was my pick. I got you guys to do that. So
Yep.
We appreciate you there, old buddy. Jace X.
Yeah.
Tom, back to you.
Okay, let's look at a couple Spotify comments. We always like to remind people you can comment on Spotify, which is always fun. Lay Croutons says, great review of an outstanding album. I was 9 when this came out. And it blew my little mind. Regarding not finding this album, I'm sure I read it has been removed from the catalog due to, publishing rights. Shame as it deserves remixes. Yeah, plus that, probably Ozzy hates it, so. Chris Hall says, Zeus is right about Margin Call. There you go, and somebody else in your corner there.
We don't usually get that.
No, we don't. Let's look at Instagram. Frozen Tears, that's our buddy Thanos Akratides, that's his band. Jakey Lee, the MVP on this album, one very hard to find album, which is very strange as it's one of his best. Here's one of my favorite Instagram handle names, Zeus. This is Hoggy Hunter 69.
Okay.
He just says, I can't wait for this. Okay. Dave Rockstar, really enjoyed this review as I love this album a lot and the artwork. Not a bad song on it, in my opinion. I heard that Ozzy was so unhappy with the sound of this record that he even asked or talked to Gene about remixing it for him, which sounds somewhat true, as back in 1986, he and Gene appeared in the movie Trick or Treat together, so their paths certainly crossed. P.S. Rainbow rules, too, by the way, and that includes all lineups. Keep on rocking, guys. Yeah.
I love it.
Frank Anzalone, nice turd cutter. There's a term I haven't heard for an ass in a while. Thank you, Frank, for pulling that one out of retirement.
Turd cutter. Okay.
Turd cutter, thank you. Clark Side of the Moon. This is a great episode, and I love the album. T&Z killed it as usual, and let's be honest, Chris Jericho is an effing genius. For the love of all things leather, could my fellow Patreons please vote for a Judas Priest record? I know that is like a glaring black hole in ARC that we haven't done any Priest records. But Zeus, that's it for Aussie feedback this month.
All right. Well, there's a lot there, my friend. So let's take our break here, and then when we come back, we'll bring in the great Matt Pinfield.
So our third man this month is a friend of the show. Previously was talking to us about Kiss, but this time around, when it came time to talk about Alice in Chains and Dirt and Grunge, a man who was synonymous with all things 90s from his time with MTV and his career as a radio DJ and his love for the band Alice in Chains, we knew it was time to bring the one and only Matt Pinfield, and he is here with us this time around. Matt, welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Tom. Good to see you, Zeus. And it's great to be back on the show, doing great, and happy that I'm alive and well and that I can, discuss one of my favorite albums of all time with you.
Yeah, Matt, for this album, we knew it had to be you. It was one of those moments where we picked this, certain albums think of certain people, and me and Zeus just said, it's got to be Matt Pinfield this time around.
It wasn't even that, Tom. I started watching a documentary on Alice in Chains Dirt. Right. Who's the first person that came up with Matt? Yeah. I'm like, oh, shit, we got to get him on. He'll be perfect for this. And so what we normally do is when we start with an album review, we always say, hey, how did you get into this? So you're the guest. We'll let you go first. Dirt. You remember when it came out? When did you get it? How'd you hear about it? Your thoughts?
I love this record. It came out, of course, at the end of 92 in September. I got it at the radio station in New Jersey, where I was working and programming that station. And, we were one of the first alternative stations that played Facelift at that time. I remember they sent out literally a live VHS videotape of Alice in Chains for people to check out. And then we had a bunch of them to give away on the air. So we're giving away these VHS Alice in Chains videotapes around Facelift. And so I was already into the band. I liked the band in a big way, and was so when the second album came out, I felt it was unbelievable. I felt there was this massive literal jump in the songwriting, in the song structure, in the performance. I mean, I'd already really had a lot of love for these guys, but Dirt was just it really bowled me over. It blew me away. The song arrangements, the lyrics, the performance, the delivery. It was just such a special record, and it still remains one of my favorite albums of that decade. One of my favorite albums of all time. I mean, it's definitely on my best of list because I love Alice in Chains and always have. And and I'm just grateful to have had a long relationship with the guys and have done things, with them over the years. And so it's a very beautiful thing that, I have the platinum record for this album.
We saw it.
Yeah.
when you walk into my hallway, and also one for Jar of Flies. But it's like it was, this record is so special because song for song, I just think, I mean, it's amazing, and all of those tracks are just still hold up. It holds up as a continuous piece of music, as this record itself. Not to mention all the songs individually.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love this record so much. And it was, it was just another thing that really supported the idea that some of the greatest music at that period of time obviously was coming out of the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
There was so much great stuff at that period of time between Alice and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Nirvana and all the stuff that was happening. Screaming Trees.
Screaming Trees.
Great
Yep.
music,
Yep.
at that time.
Yep.
So yeah, this was my pick. I love Alice in Chains, and we always talk about our time in college. Got there in 1991. We had heard about Facelift. Man in the Box was a big song. 10 was out. Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, stuff like that. We would listen to all that. It was like a perfect storm. And we knew the song Wood from the single soundtrack. And Dirt came out. And it's not that we avoided Dirt because it wasn't a great album. It's just Pearl Jam was very melodic. They had great choruses, pretty standard kind of tuning and verse, chorus, verse. Same thing with Stone Temple Pilots and some of the Nirvana stuff. The Dirt was just so dark and just so brutally dark and depressing. And when you're at a party and you're in college and you're, hanging out with your friends, drinking beers, you have girls over, you don't want to put on Junkhead or Sick Man and, or I Want to Kill Me or whatever. So for me personally, the album kind of came and went a little bit while we were in college. We knew Them Bones and Damn That River and stuff like that. But for me, Alice in Chains, I listen to more now than I ever did. And, I don't know what that says about me or Alice in Chains, but, I'll go and look at my Spotify numbers, my stats, which you can look at online. It's Kiss, it's Metallica, it's Alice in Chains, and then a cliff dive to the next band that I listen to. I love Alice in Chains, the 3 new albums with William Duvall. We haven't done any of those yet. I'm sure we will. We've done Jar of Flies, but, I haven't avoided Dirt because I don't love the album. It's just a very different album to examine and listen to, and we're going to get into that. So I'm just thrilled that we're going to be able to talk about it with Matt. So, Zeus.
All right. So for me, same time, Tom and I were sweet mates. 4 years. We lived kind of together in college. So what he liked, I liked. What he was listening to, I was listening to. So we kind of got into this around the same time. And this was the most exciting thing because there was no social media for us. And we were buying records. And before you know it, there's this other new band that's out that you haven't even heard of. Oh, this is one's called Alice in Chains. Oh, wait a minute. Did you hear this song, Soundgarden? They have they've got this incredible song called Outshined. And I hear it, and I'm like, oh, my God, who's this singer? And then all of a sudden you hear Wood, and you're like, who the hell is this? And amongst that, you got, already Nirvana's taken off, and then you've already heard Even Flow from Pearl Jam. So you're just getting blown away by all these new artists you're discovering, Stone Temple Pilots, Smashing Pumpkins, and you're just, thank God for the 5-disc changer in college. Throw in Dirt, throw in Super Unknown, throw in Nevermind, Versus, whatever. And Alice in Chains was in the rotation. I would say
like a ton of my favorite albums in a row.
Absolutely.
Like Versus,
and then Core in Purple and all that stuff. So we would throw these all in Siamese Dream as well. So amongst them, though, I think we were listening more to Jar of Flies than Dirt. I think it moved me more, just the haunting songs on that album. But regardless, Dirt was in our rotation. What really pushed me over for them, and we'll get to it because it's the opening fucking track. When I saw the video, and we were in college, we didn't have cable when in like our suite. You'd only catch it when you went home and you watch MTV and you'd see some of these videos. When I saw Them Bones, I was like, fuck, I'm jumping on this. And Wood was already out and I already had, we started buying single soundtrack. But I don't want to get into Wood, Them Bones too much. But that's how I got into the album. Now, the next thing is we will always talk about is the cover.
Yeah.
Anybody want to go?
Well, I mean, the cover to me is, I mean, it's Rocky Schenck, you know, the photograph and just the woman. It's just really, it's absolutely very dark and very haunting. So there's something very like, you know, about not really knowing. And, you know, of course, it was a woman, a model. Her name was Mariah O'Brien. She was, but the fact that it just doesn't look like anything else that was out at the time. And it kind of crossed to me, the cover was just not so artistic. I mean, and it was interesting because, you know, it's elements of what people had done and tried to do in some different metal records and even some alternative stuff at the time. But it was really strongly unique and striking. And there was a darkness to the cover itself, too, that really, I think, represented the music that was on the record as well. And that's why I thought it was just such a cool thing to do. And, you know, and I'm glad that they ended up using those, you know, and putting that whole thing together, you know? You know, it's like many people thought, like, you know, for years that it was Demry that was Layne.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah, I remember that
on the cover of the record, and instead it was, of course, you know, that model about Mariah O'Brien, Irish girl. But yeah, man, it was like that mixed with the desert landscape. It was just something that was, I don't know, it's still considered one of the most iconic album covers. You know, you've seen album covers over the years come from a lot of great English bands, like those Hypnosis album covers.
Yes.
That were for everybody from Houses of the Holy to, like, you know what I mean, to, you know, the cover of Wish You Were Here, you know what I mean, with Fire, who just passed away recently. But yeah, I think that it's, you know, it was, as far as album covers goes, it's certainly one of the most, if not the most memorable of that era, in my opinion.
But you think it's very 90s? Right? When you see that, I think it's very 90s.
In what way?
Like, it's something just like obscure, like it's not over the top, like you said, like Wish You Were Here, the guy shaking hands on fire, or Houses the Holy, but it's just like all their albums coming. Look at Jar of Flies. It's like, it's just, I feel like they have just something like, it's very like one thing and they find interesting. Look at Verses.
Yeah.
Like the fucking sheep or goat, whatever that thing is. Like, I just find like they find like something in they focus on it and then that's the cover.
I think with Dirt, first of all, I agree with everything that Matt said. I think I absolutely love the colors. This orange and brown, I absolutely love the colors. There's just two colors. It's not this big busy thing. And the thing to me is the picture. The woman is so haunting, but for me, the thing that makes it double is that her eyes are open. If you look at it, her eyes are open and she's just kind of like looking up, like almost like they're almost like rolling back into her head. And
it's kind of like it's scary. It's very
exactly
horror element to it. That
100%.
You know, not only is she buried, but she's still. But it's like almost like, is it an imagery of quicksand? Is it like a thinking and burying of the the soul, or you know? And because the record has a lot of references to dying and references, you know, in those songs that were like five together that were dealing with drug addiction and some of the things that Layne was certainly going through. And nobody was a stranger to drugs, any of the people that were involved in those periods of time. I mean, certain people like, you know, probably only went as far as weed or whatever. Right. But it wasn't really an area of straight edge other than unless you were like, you know, in Fugazi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's more like a hardcore band, a hardcore straight edge band.
Yeah.
You know, it was certainly there. It was, so it was, I think it represents that. I mean, because it's, you know, if you look at that cover, it definitely, you get the idea that it doesn't just represent the danger, a dangerous element of what came, but that period too, young people were going through a lot of like depression and dealing with social behaviors and issues with relationships. And, you know, like it was just and a lot of kids were latchkey kids that were growing up at that period and then going You know what I mean? Going from high school to college. And, there was just a really interesting thing. And that's why sometimes people say to me, well, you helped raise me because I watched you on MTV and you taught me about music, which is the most amazing compliment you can get from someone, is that you affected their musical taste. And if that meant turning them on to dirt or something like that, it was just super important. But I felt that the album cover truly represented the pain and the anger. Yeah, I think that the thing is, I think it certainly represents all the themes that are covered on this record. And I think a lot of people were going through that. I think it was a period where, it was, it was kind of taking what happened with a lot of the alternative and post-punk. And what really happened in Seattle and with grunge and rock at that period of time was, a good example of it is the way the Cult jumped from the album Love to once Rick Rubin had him listening to AC/DC. Like, there was that thing. The thing about the Seattle bands was they didn't apologize for loving classic rock. So there were elements of all that classic rock in there as well. But they also didn't necessarily embrace some of the showboating that was in the glam era. You know what I mean? And that stuff, like all of it, there was a lot of great music in all of it. You know what I mean? Obviously, you and I, the three of us love Kiss, right? So the Showman, the band who wrote the book. And those
90 bands loved Kiss.
Yeah, everybody did. They loved Kiss. They loved Aerosmith. They loved the stuff, that 70s era of great music, those period,
Yeah.
So all of those bands, like Alice in Chains, getting the opportunity to open for Kiss, you know what I mean? Because they wanted to. Pearl Jam, like all those people.
SDP. Yeah, big Kiss guys.
Yeah, of course, were one of my favorite bands too. Who I also, Robert and Dean, the story, they're
great
from
guys,
Jersey Shore, and the story how Dean drove up with a long box of core. And we broke it up in it. I debuted it on the radio. He was driving a delivery truck, even though he was signed to Atlantic Records. Hadn't come out yet. He just got a copy. He drove to my radio station up the driveway, the gravel driveway, brought me the core and asked me to play it on the air.
That's awesome.
How awesome is that? Incredible. Hey, so the last thing I want to bring up is about the cover. I mentioned it 90s because think of a Super Unknown cover.
Yes.
With the image of like the person like this in the front.
Yeah.
In Utero, same thing.
Yep.
The one person in front like this with the arms open.
Yes.
Those are 3 in a row. So to me, that's that 90 image where it's not busy. It's just got this central figure, female or not, arms out.
Yes.
On all 3 of those classic albums.
They're incredible.
Anyways, that's the album cover. Let's go into now a couple of the facts of the album itself. It was released, as you said, Matt, in September 29th, 92, produced by David Jordan and Alice in Chains. It made it to number 6 on the Billboard, U.S. Billboard, 5 times platinum as of, last time they certified it. AIC's second album, last with the 4 original members, right? Because Starr got fired halfway through the tour, I believe, right? And then they brought in Mike Inez. They had 5 singles: Wood, Them Bones, Angry Chair, Rooster, Down in a Hole. Got nominated for a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance. Didn't win. They recorded it during the LA riots. Yeah. And I think at one point they got scared. They were going to get their asses kicked.
They watched the thing was they were watching, the
original Denny guy getting his head kicked in.
Yeah.
And so what happened was they decided they were going to go get some beer. Jerry went into a liquor store and somebody came in there and was looting the store, and he saw violence, people getting pulled out of cars.
Yeah.
And they got scared. And he drove out into the desert, which is really interesting. He got away, out with.
Yeah, for 4 or 5 days, right?
And he took Tom, from Slayer with him, who actually, of course, is on, the Glenn track.
Yeah.
Man, it was it was interesting how the recording was broken up over 3 studios. Obviously, El Dorado, which was in Burbank, and then, one-on-one in L.A., but London Bridge, of course, up in Seattle. Everyone
knows that.
There's some great studios up there, and, there's just so much. The Alice in Chains history is so cool too. It's just so interesting. I'm glad I was there for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And be able to witness it firsthand. But I will say, it's like just even the whole story behind, as you've covered it before, on like Jar of Flies, and like how like they didn't have a place, they like were evicted, didn't have a place to live, went into the snow, wrote songs, and they're amazing. Like, but this record is it is a very dark record. But I love so many songs on this record. I mean, it's one of my favorite records, so I love everything on it.
Thing I want to just add here is Rolling Stone called this number 26 on their 100 greatest metal albums and number 6 on their 100 on the greatest grunge albums of all time. I don't know if it should be higher, probably, but that's just me. But anyways, we're gonna get to the first song, which is this.
So the album opens up with Them Bones, and it's just an absolute punch right in the skull right away. It starts off with just Layne just screaming, just right out of the gate, just screaming. And it's 2.5, 3 minutes of just relentless. And right off the bat, for me, you could tell that this band has grown since Facelift. Yeah. And I think the thing that I love about this song that is interesting, and you see more of it on this album, is the really weird time signature of this. It's not your standard like 4/4. It's got like that weird. It doesn't get into the standard tune tempo until you get to the chorus, and then during each verse, it's got that kind of unsettling. The whole album is just unsettling. We'll get to that as we progress. But I feel so alone. I'm going to end up a big old pile of Them Bones. I just think, what an opener, what a statement. You look at the album cover, you put this on, and you're like, okay, this is going to be dark, and this is what they do right off the bat, Matt.
I mean, it's amazing. To me, it's 2.5 minutes of pure power. It's an amazing assault, but it's also like, God, it's an incredible observation of just like of mortality and life in like such a quick period of time. 2.5 minutes. It's a masterpiece of power, and it runs that like parallel line of metal and like alternative and rock. It's everything in one fucking 2.5 minute song. It's one of my favorites. I love Them Bones. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I mean, there's quite a few songs on this record that I love. Them Bones is up there as truly one of my favorite songs of that decade. It has so much power, and it's also, like, again, I said it before, it's just exploring mortality or impermanence, you know what I mean, that we have. And it's a true statement on like that full impermanence that we really have on this planet, and things that and there was a lot of that, a lot of music coming out of Seattle at that period of time. The grunge was really dealing with a lot of mortality. Mm-hmm. Even when it wasn't, I think, as an observation, even when it wasn't just about, just the effects of drugs and loneliness and everything else. But this song, in 2.5 minutes, it says so much. So I think it's one of the greatest album openers in rock history, honestly. I love the way this album kicks off. And if you love this band, it's something that means that much to you,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Them Bones, written by Jerry Cantrell. Second single from the album, made at 2024 on mainstream rock. I think it's a sarcastic way of looking at life and death. You're going to end up a big old bag of them bones.
Yeah.
It's almost like it almost is somewhat sarcastic in the sense that, for me, listening to Kurt Cobain talking about, I don't have a gun and shotguns and shit, and then how he passes away. And then Layne going to end up alone, a big old, bag of bones. And that's unfortunately how he really passed away, alone and like down to such thin weight from like drugs that he was like skin and bones when they found him.
Nutrition, yeah.
Right? And it's sad when you think about that. But anyways, Loudwire had it number 6 in the top 10 greatest AIC songs. Kerrang! Number 2, top 20 guitar AIC songs, excuse me. I'll get to the video
part. Of all time, easily. It's just such a powerful.
It's in a bunch of like video games, like Street Fighter, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, Mad in 2010, Guitar Hero, a Tony Hawk video. I just love him. We haven't mentioned this yet. It's these vocal ticks that Layne does. That
I love it.
Like, our buddy Jason Givens did that video. Ever see him do it? He did like the 90s stuff, and he was doing it himself, like doing that TikTok video where he's just hanging out and hears jump, and it's very similar, but it's these like little ticks, and then he does that. He just make it. For me, like the lyrics, the fucking guitar, the way this song kicks off is definitely one of the top guitar. I would say grunge opening tracks of all the grunge albums I've ever.
And they have a lot of great ones. I mean, you think about them. Like
they do.
I mean, you just go through certainly, Let Me Drown on Super Unknown. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, there are just so many great songs on all those.
Oh, absolutely. I think the guitar tone on that is incredible. Jerry.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's the other thing we didn't really talk about was the production on this. The thickness of these guitars is
that
just
solo
crushing.
Is fucking awesome. That guitar solo, and then in the middle of it, he takes off on a different, like almost like second part of the solo, and he just starts going super fast. It's fantastic, and I love how the first verse is that typical AIC harmonized vocal of Jerry and Layne, and then Layne finishes the line. It's just fantastic.
It was magical, and it was a magical marriage.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I got to give them credit for being able to still write great songs and do stuff with Jerry and William too. Like there's
absolutely.
Oh, we still like the new AIC.
I still love the band. I really do.
Me too. 100%.
There's also a video. We can't talk about this album without talking videos since we have Matt Pinfield there. Right? We got to talk about videos. I love the video. Layne looks cool. He's got that King Tut beard thing going.
Little beard going.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of like flash stuff going on. All their videos, like
wicked
the
90s.
Lighting is always
the video is wicked 90s.
Absolutely. Yeah. The band I just think looks super cool, and I think Jerry looks like a guitar god in this video.
I mean, the guy's
but like just then when he's young, he's got the blonde hair out, the super cool look, his jacket's wide open, shirtless. I just think he looks super cool. And what I love the best is this is a Beavis and Butthead video too from that era.
Yep.
And they basically go, as soon as it comes on, I think it's Beavis that goes, yeah. And then I think Butthead says something like, "This is the greatest video of all time." And they actually said that Layne looks like King Tut from the Batman series with that bearded thing. I mean, honestly, I know it's pretty sad, but back then, if Beavis and Butthead liked you, they put me on the radar for them when they did the Man on the Box.
Yes,
when they did that.
Mike Judge and those guys was very, very instrumental in driving careers there. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. He like that opened me up. That's the first AIC thing I ever even heard of was Man in the Box and Beavis and Butthead talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just found that fantastic. We could gush about this forever, but let's go to song number 2, Tom.
We go to Damn That River, a song that was inspired by a real fist fight between Jerry and Sean, where Sean smashed a table over Jerry's head. So you can think that. So this song, right? So what a 1-2 punch. My God, from Them Bones to this. And the thing I love about this, we've already mentioned during Them Bones, but the thickness and the tone of these guitars, it is like a lead. It is just like a lead weight on you. And
hit by a lead pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like a coffee table.
I love the double entendre of the title, and it's just yes. But it's such a powerful and a great, like, it's an immediately memorable chorus as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Grab a hold of it. I just think it's amazing how front loaded the record is. We're like, these songs, even the songs like these first 3 in a row that weren't, the first was a single, second and third. They're all great songs. They all stand alone as incredible tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, for another band, Damn That River would have been like one of their biggest singles. That's how good the song is. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, people would have killed for a song like that. And just Jerry was on fire with these songs that he was writing. You know what I mean? He just one of the
things that stands out on this track for me, though, if you listen to it, so during the chorus, when Layne is saying, "Oh, you damn that river," if you listen, the bass drum is doing exactly what Jerry's guitar is doing, meaning when Jerry's going, the bass drum is going dun, 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 at the same time. It just adds so much extra weight to it. It does put
so much power behind it.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly, Matt. So
and
much
it's
power.
It's like a memorable riff. It's like again, there are so many great riffs on this record, and that riff is just so. It's just killer. It's Jerry. It's certainly Jerry's style. But I mean, it's, it's just like, again, it's just got these elements of everything that's great about rock and roll in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, for me, that the song is another one that, I mean, the thing about me, what I've loved over the years, besides obviously exposing and doing a lot with Alice in Chains on TV and on radio, because I've been doing radio for 40 years more. I mean, really, it's like 42, like professionally.
Wow. Yeah.
College radio. So so it's almost 42 because I started doing professional radio in 84. Mm-hmm. And then, like doing rock radio on the Jersey Shore. And then I did college radio before that. But it's incredible because I've gotten at some point, and I still do, to play like all these songs on the radio. Like, because I'd play singles, but I'd also, Damn That River was a song that was just, one of those great songs that you had to play.
Made for the radio. Yeah. Radio song. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was so deep in singles, 5 singles on this record.
Right.
So that I just play it anyway. You know what I mean? That was the good thing about being the program director.
Yeah. You do what you want.
You can make those choices and you can make those decisions to go deeper on the record you care about. And that was an era where I really loved, I'd play the singles, but I'd also go deeper on an album as a radio programmer in rock radio and alternative radio. So it was like cool that you could do that, and it was because it wasn't as corporate, right? So
that's right. Back then. Yeah. 100%.
Another great song. Like you're front loaded 2 songs into this album and it's like, you're just like, what's next? Because
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to disagree with you. This whole album is that great. So it's not just front loaded, it's middle loaded, it's back loaded. But I get your point. I get what you're trying to say. But Damn That River, the way he pronounces that, I think he's like us from Boston.
Yeah.
Damn That River.
River.
It's not river, it's river.
Yeah.
And I love that. And just the violent lyrics in this song, I kicked you in the face.
Yep.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, it is definitely a fucking song.
You can find shit like in all these songs. Like you can read the lyrics, you're like, okay. Holy shit, look at that line. Yeah. And you'll find it. And that's one for me there. But this is great. Let's move on to track 3, Tom. And that's this.
So we got Rain When I Die. So we got the first long track here. We got a 6-minute track after a couple of quick hitters here. So the thing I love about this song, so the intro, the first like minute or so, it's almost like Alice in Chains could score like a horror movie because you have the bass, you have that brooding thing, but then you have these random dissonant notes that really don't have anything to do with what's going on. And then you hear like the, and then it's just, and then when the whole band comes in and just pummels you again, because you've had Them Bones and Damn That River, upbeat kind of. This is the first song where you start to feel like the weight of the album, and it's just the third song. I think it's I think it's fantastic, and I think we're starting to see the different things that they can do, and again, how they've grown from Facelift, Matt.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I feel that there was as you progress through the album, you see growth on every track. There's something that they've come to a point where you're digging extremely deep with all these tracks. But I mean, like, I love what you said about, and I agree with you about it almost being, could be a great soundtrack thing where they could, score a film because it's very cinematic in every way.
Yes.
And I love the intro. And again, they're pushing the boundaries vocally when they're doing like that, doing that whole vocal thing that leads up to the first verse. You know what I mean? But I love it. And it just, again, I see this song as one of the most cinematic tracks on the record, and I love it. And it doesn't feel, you say it's a longer track, it's like 6 minutes, right? But it doesn't feel long.
No, it doesn't. No.
Going, the feeling, it has this incredible build. And another great chorus, Did She Call My Name? I think it's going to ring when it's just like, again, there's like this beautiful darkness in that.
Perfect. That's exactly it. Beauty. It's beautiful darkness, if that makes sense. Yes.
Yes. Zeus.
All right. So Rain, when I died, that's actually credited to all 4 members for lyrics and stuff. I just put heavy. This is what grunge, when I think of grunge, this is the era. This is the type of song. The guitar tone on this is just fantastic. Apparently this is supposed to be about Layne and Jerry's girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lyric in there that says slow castration. I don't know if I want to write that lyric in and then say to my girlfriend, yeah, it's about you.
And I'm thinking of more like, it's just like, what do you like, who knows? I think it always goes back to this thing about mortality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah, I agree with you, but it's just crazy. I think Layne absolutely kills this
in the chorus.
When you hear about that stuff, and I love that argument that everyone says, like, who's the greatest vocalist of that era? And it's got to be Chris Cornell. And then somebody like, what are you talking about? Scott Weiland, easily. Oh, no. Layne Staley blows us away. Hard to argue against Layne, honestly. His vocals are insane.
I do. Yeah, we love them all.
It's hard to say because you know what? All of them have something very, very different and unique to deliver.
And same thing with Eddie and Kurt is very unique.
Yep.
One of those guys. That's why it was such a great, productive, ripe for just a new direction era of music. Because all these artists, including Alice in Chains, took all the elements of the things that they loved in rock and roll and just music in general and made things so cinematic, literate, and the vocals, you had great vocalists who were all so special for their time. But in any time, in other words, you listen to those records now. We've had time to live with these records, to live with Dirt, to live with Purple, to live with Versus, to live with Super Unknown and Bad Motorfinger. You know what I mean? And all these records, all these guys were incredible singers, and that's my, not to bring it all back around because at some point we'll do it at the end, but that's why I miss Layne Staley so much. And and Scott Weiland. I mean, those guys were...
And Chris Cornell. And Kurt Cobain.
And Kurt. Like, those guys... God, in music, it was unbelievable.
And Lanigan as well.
Yeah, Mark Lanigan. He was... I always wave the flag.
So much, by the way, I love Lanigan. And Lanigan and I were really great friends, and I did go over and see him. I would spend a day with him in the studio.
Incredible.
Before he moved out of California and moved over to Europe.
Yep.
So I spent like an entire day with him, and I have the beautiful thing that he wrote on his book on the inside cover of that.
Yep. Incredible.
Well, I'll tell you, if you really having a great day and you really want to be depressed, go listen to his audiobook when he does it. Holy Christ.
That's bad.
That is just, I went down that rabbit hole when he was talking about touring with the guys, with Layne and Jerry and all the drug use. I was like, how the hell do these guys write music every single day?
Because they wrote what they knew.
This place and got heroin. And then we met this French guy and he had a girlfriend and we went into their place and like, dude, when did you perform? It's all drug use. But anyways, the one thing I do like about this, and it reminds me of, I Love It Loud.
Yeah.
Okay. Fade, and then the comeback, right?
Yeah.
The song fades out, and then it comes back.
Yep.
It just reminds me of I Love It Loud from Creatures of the Night. Anyways, let's get to the next track, which is a absolute classic for AIC.
So we got Down in a Hole next, and this is kind of the first kind of painfully there's a little bit of acoustic. It's kind of it's AIC's kind of version of a love song that Jerry wrote it for his girlfriend. He thought that what he was going through was going to end up destroying their relationship, and the double entendre of hole meaning, sinking into a deep depression, sinking into a deep addiction. Couple things that stand out for me on this song is that first verse, the vocal tone is very calming, very kind of peaceful, kind of blends. When you get to that second verse, now it's almost like the anger is coming out. And by the time you get to that second chorus, as the song progresses, that softness is gone, and now it's getting really dark, really aggressive. The guitars are getting louder, and it makes you feel as if you are sinking in some kind of a hole. And I just think it's just the genius of Alice in Chains and Layne and Jerry, Matt.
Yeah, it's so true. That's how I feel about it too. Yeah, I love the lyrical build into the chorus and coming back into the verses in that period. Yep. Of those lyrics just really blow me away, and they're depressing. I mean, they're dark and depressing, and it's about feeling like that. It's all there in the lyrics. You know what I mean? It's I think that it's Jerry really, and thinking about how long-term relationships are a difficult thing because of the condition of our own lives and our other things, whether that's addictions or just our inability sometimes to express our emotional side of things. We can express our emotional side of things, but it's also becomes difficult because you're putting everything out there. And sometimes in relationships, it makes it hard for people to really understand. And that's what I think was just such an incredibly tough thing for, and a lot of that does also come with drug addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You're just can be so deeply sucked into that it affects all relationships in your life. You know what I mean? And it affects your work too. Sometimes absolutely genius things can come out of it in songs, but I think there was an ability for Jerry to be able to, even in the lyrics, to look at himself and how long-term relationships were a really hard thing to deal with and commit with for a number of reasons. And I think it's, you approach it. I mean, there's so many levels where you could take the lyrics to the song on.
Yep.
The addiction side, the relationship side. And I think that he's been pretty vocal about that too when it comes to this song,
Yeah.
But I love the track. It's fucking depressing as hell.
It certainly is.
It's depressing. You know what I mean? It's, but I love this record. I think, like I said, and certainly when it came out, I had some stuff that I was going through. So, I mean, it was, so there were things I think like anybody, when you get what you're getting out of music, getting out of a song, getting out of an album, is how you take those things for yourself. Sure. Those things that are important, or that really relate to the way that you feel. That's why we see music as such a companion. And I think it's a
perfectly said
song,
Yeah. So Down in a Hole, written by Jerry Cantrell. It was the 5th single. It made it to, I think, number 10 on Mainstream Rock. Jerry said it was about his long-term girlfriend named Courtney Clark. And it's his top 3 of his songs personally. Life is not conducive, he says, too much success with long-term relationships.
Okay. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's so obvious in the song, right? I mean, lyrically, I think.
Yeah. And then it's on Unplugged. And originally, Jerry thought the song might be a little too soft, but he played it for the band. They liked it, so they actually recorded it. The Unplugged version of this is incredible, by the way. All the songs on Unplugged.
Very grateful. I was there sitting like right across from me, next to Metallica, who were there. And even though Layne left the Unplugged the minute that it was over because Emery was in the hospital, he got on a plane, it flew back. We went up on the stage. I said goodbye. I told Layne how much I loved the performance that night and how great it was. We went up and said that to him. And then he took off. They got on a vehicle to a plane at Teterboro. And I just went into the dressing room with Jerry and Mike and Sean and the Metallica guys. That's who was there. So
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Amazing.
What a life.
Amazing.
This song was covered by former Red Sox pitcher Tom Bronson Arroyo.
Oh God, he loved thinking he was a lost member of
he's like buddies with Peter Gammons and they loved Pearl Jam. They loved Pearl Jam because they would have that fundraiser and Eddie Vedder would always come and do shit like that.
That's right.
I just think it's a beautiful acoustic opening, and I just love this lyric. I'd like to fly, but my wings have been so denied.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't get it until what do you?
So that's again.
What did he just say?
So absolutely heartbreaking, depressing. It's like being stuck, kind of being your own worst enemy, or actually not even necessarily knowing the power that is behind the thing that's keeping you from connecting to that party.
So you say that.
That's right.
Right? Your own worst enemy. And then he's got that fucking awesome line in the song that I've always waited when that pops up. I love and then Layne sings it the way he sings everything. I have been guilty of kicking myself in the teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Incredible.
Love that. And just the harmonies.
Think about how great that is, that a record can go top 6 or whatever. That era, it was so great that you can actually write about things and about feelings and have success.
So true, Matt.
Good time, because there was a lot of emotion in those lyrics and a lot of darkness but also like not being afraid to talk about things like that. And
when you think about it too, where we are, every one of these songs is just they're all just pouring themselves out. It's a diary. None of this is pretentious. None of this is formulaic. This is all of their lives being put down on pen and paper. And I think that's why it carries that much so extra weight, especially when we all know what happened to Layne. When you listen to these songs, they make them 1,000 times more haunting and powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought the harmonies on this are just awesome. I love Jerry singing too. Very underrated, but the harmonies are on point. There was a video on this, again, just really weird, but I think this is the first video where Inez is in the video and not Starr anymore.
Yeah, and it's Inez. If you just
Inez. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But no, that's okay, because you know what? Hey, listen, I've been doing radio and TV for years. You can mispronounce names. Sometimes you don't know. I mean, and they can also have multiple pronunciations.
Yeah.
I had a kid I coached in hockey. His name was that way. That's why I pronounced it. Yeah. Because he would correct me when I said the other way.
Yeah. So it's interesting too, you know?
But you see the video? They're like in some sort of a desert on an oil field, and they hanging out at some trailer community. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it could be California or Texas.
Exactly.
Just a weird kind of a thing. Like nothing is straightforward. It's always something like obscure and bad lighting. And anyway, let's go to the next track.
So we take our first kind of descent into what I call madness, I guess you could say. We have Sick Man here at number 5. And this song, I mean, the producer, Dave Jordan, hated this song because even he said, guys, this song is just too fucked up. It's just too disturbing. And Layne even said it's the weirdest song I've ever written. He told Jerry, I want you to write something sick. And Jerry came up with this just pure chaos. The song is all over the place, and it is very unnerving. But that being said, it fucking rips. Yeah. It's batshit. It's crazy, but it's believable because Layne is singing. He is sick. He's dope sick. He's and that mental, like with that part of the song when it transitions, when he starts going like the screaming into madness, and then it slows down to this like incredibly painful slow pace, and then it picks back up. The song is a mess, and I think that's what makes it spectacular, Matt.
Yeah, I love it too. I gotta say, the thing about Sick Man being a song that's written by Jerry and Layne, they're both get writing credit on this song, is one of the things. But I love it because it's very, very dark. First of all, to make a song where there's an admission of a sickness, whether that be addiction or, anything, or mental health, I think. And it was really early on. I mean, not that people haven't talked about mental health before. I mean, people have, in rock music and, like obviously even Alice Cooper, I love it to death, toyed with the Ballad of Dwight Fry, which he still does live sometimes, which is which is certainly about a person, who's going through mental hospital or mental. But this is, it can be taken on so many different levels. But I think the music expresses the confusion of of the sickness, the mental illness, the dope sickness, the confusion of where your life is taking you.
Yep.
I love that whole line where it says, I can feel the wheel, but I can't steer, is like that whole thing.
Crazy.
It's like, and the changes, the drum attack that Sean Kinney does on this. Oh, so cool and just so interesting and powerful.
Yeah.
I love all the changes. And again, it shows the band again, pushing limits. It comes again. We talked about how far it came from Facelift, and this is just another example. You know what I mean? Showing just the unbelievable power and talent of the guys in the band. Zeus.
Yeah, Sick Man, written by Jerry and Layne, as you said. Tom, he did tell him to say, write the sickest, darkest, most fucked up thing and heaviest you can write. And this is what he comes up with. The tribal beats in the beginning, and then the guitar comes in. The pre-chorus, it almost sounds like
Yeah.
I love Sap almost as much as I love Jar of Flies. It sounds like that last untitled song, which calls Love Song. It's like,
it's Sap. Yeah.
Like all that, like
ghosts,
weird shit that they do. Like he's just calling out that stuff on. That's what I felt like. Maybe they try to complete that, or they're like, hey, we could work on that and make that into something. The bridge is very interesting with the spoken word shit over it. Like the just song goes to weird fucking places. And then at the end, it goes right back to the main riff.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wrote at the end, a real uplifting song.
But this is my point about why we didn't listen to this in college that much. Like, hey, come on over, we'll listen to Sick Man. We're gonna play some video games and drink beers. Like,
Sick Man was. I got to just jump in a second. And say,
please.
Like, not one of those songs. You're like, hey, I'm hanging out with this woman for the first time.
Yeah.
Hey, let's check out this Alice in Chains song.
Exactly, man.
Hey, why don't you grab a drink and I'll play some relaxing music.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn the lights down low and put on Sick Man. Like,
good luck. All right. Well, if that doesn't cheer you up and get you some beautiful ladies, maybe this next song will, Tom.
So we go to Rooster, arguably one of the most well-known and kind of signature songs for the band. And as anybody who follows Alice in Chains, or even if you don't follow Alice in Chains, Jerry wrote this about his father's experience being in Vietnam. He was called the Rooster. And everybody knows, hey, they come to snuff the rooster, and listen to the lyrics and the picture that he's painting. And, Jerry has said that he wrote this thinking of trying to understand his dad's point of view of being away in Vietnam and how it must have felt for him to be not at home and away from his family. So it's the chorus is just off the charts. I mean, it's just, this shows the strength of the band at its peak. And whether it's your favorite song or not, it's undeniable what this song represents as a band. And of course, lyrically from Jerry, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Rooster's fantastic. And yes, it has been well documented that it's about his father and that nickname. And I think it's great because I think it's an interesting way of showing, trying to understand your father and write through a song about their experience. Because certainly the trauma of war and also, like, if you think about depression and you think about addiction and all the guys that came back from Nam that were addicted to heroin because it was so easy to get
readily available. Yeah.
I'm talking about that for his father, but I'm talking about there were so many traumatic experiences and why soldiers have PTSD. And, there's been a lot of things documented, but like, I love what you said because it's true. It was Jerry trying to kind of understand, paint a picture of what he envisioned his father's life to be like, having gone through that traumatic and difficult experience and see death and to see all death and the spoils and ruins of war. And it just, but when he hits that chorus, and Layne and Layne hits those notes. It's like some of the most powerful vocals on a rock song for that certainly ever, and for that decade. It's just like you just go, wow! It just scales, it rises.
Yep.
And just they're incredible. What a band, and what a creative team. I mean,
Good point.
I'm trying to say, but man, Jerry is just a great songwriter. He just has always been. I mean, that's an understatement. I mean, I love his songs. I think he truly is just written some of the greatest rock songs of all time. And just, these, that's the thing you mentioned earlier. And it's not so much maybe on this song in particular, and we're going to get into other songs, but the time signature changes. Risks that were taken by bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, doing songs that were challenging themselves with themes, but musically,
structurally,
and you know what I mean, with their arrangements. So I do love Rooster, and I think the reason why it's still one of the most popular rock songs of the '90s is because it just represents such a visual story there about Jerry's father. And, you can see that it's just, it brings you right there. You feel like you're next to a guy who's sitting there in the fields, waiting for something to happen as they were over in
Good point. Yeah. Yep.
So Rooster, written by Jerry Cantrell, it was the fourth single. It went to number 7 on mainstream rock. I think you hit the nail on the head. What a partnership. Jerry can write the music and write these fucking lyrics, and then Layne can sing this like nothing else. What a combo. And I think about all the great bands of the 90s and the grunge era. There is no better duo within a band than Jerry and Layne.
No.
So you're not taking, all these other people are great. So Mike McCready and Eddie Vedder, Kurt and fucking Chris. You're not taking that pair. If I'm going to take a pair from any of these bands, it's these two. They're off the charts compared to everybody else.
I mean, it's also because it's like their voices, the way that they were able to meld, the way that Jerry could write for Layne, but also sing and weave their vocals together. It was like something very magical, which is why so many people tried to emulate that as bands formed. It became so influential. And for good reason, because it was that great. It was that great. You know what I mean?
We said that on when we did Jar of Flies, that basically it was like they have a third voice in the band. It's each of their voices,
and
vocals,
then the harmonies.
And then the harmonies is a third singer for the band. It just made them so much better. But this is very haunting. The opening line where that guitar is just making those eerie sounds. Yeah. And he opens up with one of my favorite Alice in Chains lines. Ain't found a way to kill me yet.
Yep. I mean,
it's fucking badass.
So many things, obviously,
I think of like Apocalypse Now and then coming out of the water or something like Platoon.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And it just is, the imagery is incredible. And when the band comes in at 2:10,
it's insane.
At the 2:10 mark. Oh yeah. The boom. Oh my God. What a fucking band. And I'm just like, this is why Layne is just legendary. Unplugged version, again, incredible. Yeah. And one other MTV tie-in to you. At one point in Beavis and Butthead, they're at the, I think it's the Army recruit place in front of them. And then Butthead or Beavis saying, they come to snuff the rooster. They actually said that in there, just a throwaway line. But I always remembered it because, like, isn't that from that Alice in Chains song? That's how big that line, Snuff the Rooster, is.
Love it.
The video is pretty fucked up.
Yes.
Like interviewing both Jerry and his dad, and his dad telling stories. And I heard that, from reading and all that stuff, the weird relationship they had, and they were close and not close and trying to understand each other. And then this video and seeing all the crazy, like, flashback kind of video of Vietnam and stuff. It's just amazing.
Great video.
Around.
Well made.
Video great. Song great. Lyrics, vocals, band. Classic grunge era song.
Yep.
All right, Tom, let's go do some heroin.
So the next song here starts with the trifecta of just kind of like we've kind of really sunk into about as low as we're going to get here. So the track 7 is Junkhead, and my God, the lyrics here. First of all, I will start off by saying I absolutely love this song because you really can't get any slower and any heavier than this song. Maybe there's another one if we could argue later on, but the lyrics combined with the pace and the tempo of this song. You can't understand a user's mind, but try with your books and degrees. If you let yourself go and open your mind, I'd bet you'd be doing like me, and it ain't so bad. And I remember Layne was trying to tell people, like, I'm not glorifying drugs. I got mad when people came up to me and said, yeah, man, I understand what you're saying. He's like, no, you're missing the point. And then talking about nothing better than a dealer who's high. The song is, it's painful to listen to because you can tell that he's writing this. Like I said, it's like a confession, like a diary entry. But musically, it just pummels you. Like you're almost like tired at the end of it, Matt.
Yeah, it's a sad, it's a sad song, and it's. I think out of guilt, sometimes he probably wanted, like he said, when people would say, "Oh, I can relate to that," he's like, "Man, you don't want to go down that road," you know
right.
what I mean? And sadly, so many people like Layne, who we loved so much, who had so much talent, could not get out of that place.
Yeah.
In time. And other people have gotten to places where they're doing great. You know what I mean? But it's so sad that we've lost so many amazing talents, and Layne is a perfect example of that. So the song makes me a bit sad. I gotta say, it bothers me. As a guy who's been in recovery for, I've been in recovery for many years, and like my whole thing is that it's heartbreaking in many ways, that song, and this whole run of songs are very interesting because it's all dealing with things straight on. I think like no other record has done. So that's my feeling about Junkhead. It's like I said, I love this record. I love the music, and I love it at where it falls in as a piece of the overall story, because I think it's just painting a vivid, dark though, and disturbing picture. But again, not one of my favorites on the album for that very reason. You know what I'm saying? So
makes sense. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So Junkhead, written by Cantrell and Layne. A lot of drug references. Obviously, that's what the song's about. Gotta love the line. What's my drug of choice? What have you got?
Yeah, that's do you know that's what the description of a junkhead is someone who,
yes,
what are you going to, I'll try anything. And I think a lot of people go through that period because they're trying to decide, if they're open to using and experimenting with drugs. They try different things and try to figure out what the thing is that, eliminates as much pain as they can, as they can figure out what to do. I mean, it's a very, very descriptive and honest song about a lot of people have gone through. And, I think you can also, you take the song as a warning to get, to not go down that road. It's a very painful road. And
yeah,
I think,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. Finish.
Go ahead. No, you want to talk, Zeus.
I just want to say, like, this is stuff that I can remember listening to in college when we're going out and hanging out with chicks or trying to do something, like sitting in your dorm room. It's raining out, and you and your buddy are playing Madden football, and you got this playing on. It's a plodding song, but deep, and it just, you're like, and you can get into it. This is like what it's funny because I want to say this because there'll be people that are turned off by this whole review because they like different types of rock. This is, I think, the poster child of what I think all those hair metal, glam metal fans think of when they think of grunge.
Yeah, they think every grunge song is this.
This. And they fucking hate it. It doesn't got the big Paul Stanley type choruses the guitar riffs, happy lyrics about getting laid and drinking and picking up chicks and all that stuff. This is what they're like, oh, I want to listen to grunge and kill myself.
Right.
But like you can have two thoughts in your head.
Of course.
You can go listen to Pearl Jam's Nothing But a Good Time and then want to hear this too. You don't have to hate one to like the other. Right. But I mean, that's what this sticks out for me the most. And I love songs like this or songs like Creep from Stone Temple Pilots where you're like plodding along, but you're singing into it and you love it. And you're like, this is just not what I'm used to liking from that era when you come back from, Rat, Motley Crue and stuff. And all of a sudden you're singing Creep and Junkhead.
Yep.
They don't go together, but you still like both.
You can still do two things.
Exactly. And I can still like this and want to listen to Out of the Cellar.
Of course.
So anyway, let's go to the next track, the title track.
So let's continue kind of sinking into the hole here. We're on Dirt, the title track. And if you thought Junkhead was going to make you feel bad about yourself, the lyrics in this one, I want you to kill me and dig me under. I want to live no more. I want to taste dirty, a stinging pistol in my mouth. This is exactly why people don't like grunge, because they think this song is indicative of every song. That being said, I'm going to say it, and you might call me crazy. I love this song. And it's not because I love the lyrical content of it. I love it because it is as brutally honest as you can get for a song. That Layne Staley is crying out for pain. Me personally, I've been blessed that I have never had addiction issues. That being said, addiction issues have touched me and my family and my friends. And hearing a song like this, it is so painful to listen to if you've either experienced addiction or know people who have, that Layne is almost begging for more pain to almost cover up the other pain. It's a dreadful song, but that being said, I think it's an incredible song, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a part of like what you would consider to be the group of songs that are kind of towards the end of the record, which are there's a lot of feeling of not only hopelessness but also, like sometimes feeling that hopelessness that some people have felt, whether that's because of depression or drugs, which will definitely induce depression.
Sure. Yep.
I mean, it temporarily can numb you and everything like that. But I mean, the truth is that when you come, there is that moment of clarity that will come that will make you realize, holy shit, this is a really rough place to be. And I'm trying to bury something. And that's why that whole line about the gun in the mouth is very disturbing and descriptive. And I understand why some people would find that to be disturbing. But again, it's to me, it's exploring what a lot of people have felt. They felt like they were hopeless, and that putting a bullet in the back of their head might be the only way to kill the pain. Yep. It's very sad, very disturbing, very dark, but it's also it's a brilliant observation. Whether you're talking about somebody's personal thing, like how Layne had felt at some times, but I think that they were able to tap into a thing that a lot of people were dealing with when less people were talking about mental health.
Yes.
And addiction. Addiction was still even much more of a dirty word at this period of time.
Yes.
It was still drug addiction and alcoholism were still really, there's a lot more understanding, knowledge, and available help. And tolerance to give people a chance to kind of make a chance to go back and grow, and whether that happens to be a program or whatever else it is, another way that they deal with it. But I think in this song, you're talking about the depths of total despair and sometimes feeling this unbelievable hopelessness because of the hole that you're in that addiction will bring you to. Yep. And depression can do the same thing.
Yes.
Depression can do it. Other mental health issues, schizophrenia. I mean, it's like,
yep.
These are subject matters, like I said, that not a lot of people have dealt with until around this era of rock and roll. Why some people love it and some people don't. You know what I mean? Some people really, it's a big part of their part, but others, it's understandable that some other people would go to music for something maybe different that is to make them feel good and party and, that kind of thing. So music has different use for everyone. You know what I mean? Like we on different levels, right? I mean, obviously, the three of us on this call love a lot of different eras of music because I do. I love rock and roll. I'm a music fan.
Sure.
And there's great stuff in every era. But I love this record. But man, it's dark as we break this down. Yes, it is an unbelievable document of darkness and actually became even more of a blueprint for what was to come. Unfortunately,
absolutely. So, Dirt, written by Jerry Cantrell and Layne. I think the riff, if you hear this riff, it's like a slower version of What the Hell Have I?
Yep.
That.
Good call.
Oh my God! And now that song, how it wasn't on a studio album, I will never understand. That is a top 10 AIC song for me. I absolutely love it. Right off of Last Action Hero soundtrack.
Yeah, What the Hell Have I was so great. It was an incredible song, and it was
that riff. I
mean, it's amazing. People forget that song was like.
Oh my! That riff is just. Oh my God! But anyways, another decent plodding along song, like this, a song like this, and the previous song we just listened to, and a song like 4th of July from Soundgarden.
Love it.
I love that song.
People don't get it.
July parades. Blasting out my window, and I'm sure
they must love it.
It was kind of on purpose. It's kind of funny. I was like, I wonder how they feel about. And I actually played 4th of July on the radio on the biggest rock stations in 2 of the biggest cities in America. On the 4th of July, I played that song, which
love
is
it.
A radio.
People are like, what the hell is this crap?
I love that song.
Crap. I love that song. But I think
love
they were
it.
Probably like this. What is this? This is not on the 4th of July. We're usually doing like we're an American band, right?
Yeah, right.
That's my point. Like people might be like, "What the fuck is this? This doesn't fit."
Kind of fun. I love the confrontation of it. To be honest,
but do you get it? Like what I'm saying? Like those type of songs are not songs that you would sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, let's rock out to this." But you hear it and it moves you. Those plodding songs that have a great melody in the background and just the vocals are fantastic. The lyrics off the chart. I think, how about the line? You have the talent to make me feel like dirt.
I mean, that's amazing. That's a real thing. I mean, that's a real thing that people go through with relationships.
Toxicity.
In general, you know what I mean? And more than ever, I mean, I think that people have focused on that as they deal with mental health issues, as it's more commonplace to actually talk about it. So I think that it was, again, I think that was the magic to why a lot of people that did love this album, love this record, because it was addressing things that people really hadn't talked about before. Popular forum or in a rock forum. So I think, and especially to that degree, which is, so I guess, that's how we feel about Dirt.
And it's and one last thing, Matt, to just kind of comment on what you just said. Not many people talked about, and not many people talked about it this raw, this descriptive. Like there's no sugarcoating here. They're using crystal clear, painful language to express what they're saying. There's no, you don't have to decipher these lyrics. He's talking about putting a gun in his mouth and he wants you to kill him. Like nobody sings about that stuff. Nobody writes songs like that. So, bands might write songs that have like kind of symbolism or kind of talking, in circles about what they're trying to get to. But this is in your face. You don't have to wonder what these songs are about. And I think that just adds to the weight and the power of them.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to the next track about a Boston band.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got Godsmack. And contrary to popular belief, Sully from Godsmack claims that his band was not named after this song because the term Godsmack is it's kind of like a colloquial it's a saying where it means you have been kind of punished by your own actions. You've been God-smacked. Like you have done something wrong and you are now being punished for it. It's a God-smack. And first of all, just get into this song. Whatever Layne is doing, singing like Tiny Tim is terrifying in this song. When he's the beginning of when he's like I'm like, oh my God, like this. The song, it's great. The music just rips and it's got like kind of a weird structure. But the choice for Layne to sing the verses that way is just chilling to me. This is definitely an odd song. It's not as odd as Sick Man, but this is definitely, not one you're going to put on at a party. But that being said, I think it's fantastic. And it's just another song about addiction, dependence, withdrawal, etc. And they're painting another crystal clear picture of it, Matt.
Yes. I think that it's, it really is indicative of what they as a band were going through at the time. Obviously, things would accelerate steadily in Layne's addiction, and ultimately we would lose him because of it, which was so sad. And but I think this was a period of time where they were working on where they were going as a band in a direction, and decided we're gonna write about what's going on in our lives right now, and not be afraid to address those things. And I think that, it's interesting because a lot of time I think it's interesting because you've heard both sides of that Godsmack thing. But yeah, that is a term. Godsmack are a great band, and I love those guys. But yeah, I mean, originally that's what I thought. I thought, well, maybe they got it from the song because they're fans. Obviously, I figured they would be fans.
Yeah.
And, but yes, that is an expression that has been used before. But again, it's it's a very depressing song with very descriptive, lyrical to shooting up and doing all this. It's just like there's so much stuff in here, and that's like, hey man, and as a guy who's in recovery, who was never a heroin guy, but never, I don't judge anybody. Everything's the same, in my opinion. Addictive behaviors, addiction, any chemical, any mind-altering substance, that's addiction, right? If you cannot lead, if it gets in the way of you leading your normal life, if it causes problems in your life. And some things are inevitable that if you keep doing them, they are going to do that. Some certain substances and behaviors. But yeah, it's wild because, you figure some people probably bought this record and then they listen to these songs like, holy, you know what I mean? But I get back to the whole idea of certain things being front loaded, even though it really isn't, because it's great all the way through. But
right.
It definitely reminds me of the time and what was obviously going on, and the struggles that were going on with Layne. And it was amazing.
Sure.
They both wrote this song.
Yep.
And they were both struggling at the time. It's no secret, you know what I mean, right? I mean, so and I think that Dave Everett, a guy who's been very open about his own struggles, you know what I mean? But I gotta say, it's my whole thing again as I look through songs, I think the Godsmack idea is that, I'm being punished for something.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And
I thought he was saying God, this is like Godsmack. Like it's that good.
When I first saw it too, I'm like, I
assumed that's what it meant.
Right,
right. I don't know the lingo.
Right. Yeah, well, we're not heroin addicts, so I'm glad we don't know the lingo.
So I didn't know if that's what it meant, Matt. Hey, this is how good is this? This is beast mode smack. This is God smack.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of thought it was definitely being punished, kind of thing. But I'm sure people can interpret it as what you're talking about. Again, heroin was never my thing. You know what I mean? And again, I don't make judgments. I'm no better, no worse than human being. If you were an alcoholic or you had some addiction issues, which I've been very open about, obviously, because I what my experience is and strength and hope for others. You can help them.
Sure, absolutely, Matt.
I've been through crazy shit that has nothing to do with addiction, like my car having a stroke and a lot of other things. But I mean, again, it's the album is, it's so conceptual as you get into this. I mean, the whole record, but even as you get in towards the second half of the album, it's unbelievably conceptual. I mean, it's obviously like that's where a lot of it's coming from. And it's describing things that really have been mentioned in songs before, but not to the degree that they were, I think, on Dirt in one entire record. I mean, I'm sure there are other records, but not with the impact that Dirt had on people and on the music world. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Then it makes me wonder, is Mainline on Kiss's album, is that about heroin, or is it Paul, because Paul Stanley wrote it, I think he has no idea what Mainline means.
No.
No way.
Thought it was a good sounding song. I love that song, by the way.
We all, yeah, it's a great song.
I love Louder Than Hell. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of Kiss albums. It's not like it.
Yeah.
No, but on that album,
something about that record and the dirtiness of it. And we always joke it's the first one of the first grunge record because it's so like.
Good point.
Exactly.
Great point.
Richie Wise, their production. And, you know, I told you, I asked Gene years ago, I said, Gene, why does it sound kind of like an air conditioner might have got turned on? right from Got to Choose. I felt like
that's awesome.
I feel like, you know, but I love that record so much.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm like, Paul Stanley's not cool enough to know what fucking Mainline meant.
Oh, he's cool enough. I love Paul. I think he's cool. But I will say this. I think it sounded good. It was like it sounded good in this song.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest. I love the story.
He could have called it Buttercups if he thought the line wrote. I think
I love the fact that they heard, you know, Fire Brigade on the radio once on WFM by The Move and then wrote Firehouse.
I know.
Firehouse, because I love that. Yeah.
You know, they're nothing alike.
I know. Nope. We're going to go down this detour. We got to stop. All right. And the other thing about the Godsmack I like is I think the vocal effect sounds like he's underwater.
Yeah, kind of.
Whatever the
like. Yeah.
Yeah. And sounds like Principal McVickers on Beavis and Butthead. The nervousness. But what in God's name have you done?
Yeah.
Stick your arm for some real fun.
Oof. Rough. That's fucked up, dude.
I had to go past that, guys. I'm being honest. I mean, like, because it was never my thing. And I've mentioned this numerous times, but, you know, and again, I know I reiterate because I don't want anybody ever to think that I'm judging someone else who had a problem with heroin or, you know, but it was just never my thing.
Yep.
So as I listen to the song, I'm looking for things that are identifiable. You know what I mean? And, but I mean, that is so damn descriptive without a question. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's hitting it right on the mark. The other thing I like about it is that crazy vocal. And then when he gets into that pre-chorus and he goes back to singing normally, don't you know that none are blind? Oh my God. That it's just, he can do so much vocally. He's in a class by himself. And this song really sticks that out. And it's so interesting what they're doing. And that's another great part of this album. It's like, it's interesting. It's not a boring album. They're doing a bunch of new things. Every song can have something different you never heard throughout the album. And so you got to make sure you listen. Just like this next track.
So the next one, depending on where you're listening to it, it's either called Untitled. It's also known as Iron Gland. It's 43 seconds. You got Tom Araya from Slayer chiming in there for a second. And Jerry was kind of funny. He said, I wanted to give people, 30, 40 seconds to let them catch their breath from what they've heard before we drag them back down into a hole and finish the rest of the album. It's just kind of like a noise thing. It's an interlude,
to me, it's a total throwaway.
Of course. There's nothing there.
It's I would, I don't consider it a song. I don't consider it part of Alice in Chains' legacy. I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just saying it. I fucking don't give a fuck about it. Yeah. But I love the next three songs in a row.
Well, we're going to get there, so hold on. Yeah.
The one thing I just put down for Iron Gland, this is such a 90s thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just stupid shit in the middle of an album or at the end, which is just gibberish. They always have to do this, whether it's STP at the end of Purple, Nirvana's 13 minutes of silence, and then we get to another track at the end, or Pearl Jam's Bugs. Like, who puts that shit out? Or Hey Foxy Mum, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Pearl Jam.
Just like this is such a 90s thing, I think. You know, you're not hearing that stuff off of I don't know, Invasion of Your Privacy.
So I think that was a period of time too. It's like because the CD was the real, like that was how most people were hearing.
That's right.
That and cassettes, but certainly, but it was the CD. So it was like, well, we've got a lot of extra time on there to do whatever we want. Not always a good thing.
Let's do something stupid with the time that we have. Yeah, exactly, Matt.
I just look at it. It's like always like one of those things. It's over in 45 seconds. I just let it play through.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Well, we're ending on a high note. We got 3 in a row to go to.
Yeah, and the next one we have here, the 11th track, if you count Untitled, Iron Gland, whatever you want. This is Hate to Feel. More uplifting, put a smile on my face songs here. If you thought Alice in Chains couldn't slow down the tempo of their songs anymore, this one is just incredibly painful. And it goes in between like super, super slow. Then it's got the heavy chorus. Layne was pretty much talking about how he was starting to become like his dad, who had also struggled with addiction. And he says, all this time I swore I'd never be like my old man. It's time to face exactly who I am. So he's talking about addiction, family drama, family troubles. And the song is just painfully slow. But again, I'm going to tell you right now, I love it. Nobody does slow, painful songs like Alice in Chains. And the lyrics are painful. But I don't know, man. With Jerry playing the guitar and Layne singing, I'm in, Matt.
I love this song.
Me too.
It. I think Hate to Feel is just an absolutely great song. It showed you how Layne was developing and getting to be a better songwriter all the time, too. He was really able to express himself as a songwriter straight out on a song like this, but it also still shows and all of the unbelievable ability of the other members of the band. I think it's a great song. And I think the changes in the song, like melodically are just brilliant. And I love the track. So, and I think it's expressing a more wide, like where maybe a couple of the other songs were really talking about heroin and the process and procedure and ritualistic side of that heroin stuff. You're back to a song called Hate to Feel, which you could relate to more, especially if you just hate to feel the pain or hate to feel certain things because you're making yourself more vulnerable. So you could take that in so many different levels lyrically. I mean, in different ways. And that's why I just thought I love it and think it's an unsung hero of a song on this record. I love it big way.
Agreed.
Always love this song. So I think is a great Alice in Chains song.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to Feel, written only by Layne Staley. And he also plays rhythm guitar on this, which is not something he does normally. There's a live version of this on the Angry Chair single. So if you add the single, you can hear a live version of the song. I just love the pre-chorus of this. All the, just like you said, all this time I swear I'd never be like my old man. Oh,
I mean, the melody is amazing. And the way just the layer of the vocal, the way it sits in and rides in the music is just, I love it. It's beautiful. It's sung so well. It's so cool.
And the guitar solo on this is fantastic. The tone is completely different.
Yes.
I fucking love it. And again, you will find something in Alice in Chains songs here and there, something different that sticks out, interesting. And they did it again on this song. It's a great song.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. 2 left to go, Tom.
All right, so we're sitting in our angry chair. I know Zeus always talks about who wrote what, but this is another song by Layne, very personal song, talking about his isolation and kind of reflecting on what he's been doing. In the angry chair that he's sitting in is him kind of coming face to face with his addiction and his drug use and what he's dealing with. Jerry said he thinks it's the best song Layne ever wrote. And again, a very kind of dissonant, unsettling tone of a song. And when he gets to those parts of the song, when it's like little boy made a mistake, and it's like, like it's just troubling. It's uncomfortable to listen to. but you want to hear the rest of the song. You know, like a lot of these songs really make you kind of force you to listen to this stuff. It's not, you know, it's not toe tapping music, but it's fantastic music. And I think Angry Chair is really one of the many, many hidden gems on this album, Matt.
It's one of my favorites. I love it. I mean, I just love that. I think the album finishes so strong.
Yes.
I mean, with these last three songs, it's just like you get past the, that period of the songs that are really more, like I said, dealing directly with the addiction and the ritual of addiction. And then you got these songs that can be taken on more levels again, and very, very expressive and representative of a lot of things that people couldn't talk about in those periods of time. It's certainly not, but they were getting more open about in the era of the 90s, especially with seeing a lot of their heroes, the Layne Staleys and the Kurt Cobains, dying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of course, died later, but it was just, it was crazy that he actually wrote this song, right? Because originally it was going to be like some side project, and of course, or solo thing. But the song it's an Alice in Chains classic.
Certainly,
I love Angry Chair, and in its own way, maybe not like. I think it could have stood up as a single, but there were already like 5 singles released off the album. But then again, it still got radio airplay. I mean, this record got played. I mean, a lot of people played this song. I mean, people just went deeper on the record because they wanted to play more songs on the record, myself included, on the radio. So I absolutely love Angry Chair in a big way and think it's just, again, another example of what makes this such a great whole album.
Yep. All right. So Angry Chair, written by Layne Staley. Again, he played rhythm on this. It is the third single. They did release it as a single.
All right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. I wonder I played it on the radio so much.
Yeah. You played the whole album. That's why. How are you going to know?
Yeah. Like I said, I played Rain When I Die and all those songs as well. Like Damn That River. Just because they were all, to me, that strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's a great album all around.
That's right. You know what? I do have, it's funny. I do have a 7-inch single of Angry Chair.
There you go.
Speaking of 7-inch,
I have a picture disc of it too.
Speaking of 7-inch,
you have the live version of Hate to Feel on the back.
Yeah, it's on the back. I have the picture disc. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking real quick, if I can interject, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. I have the 30th anniversary box set of Dirt, which is fucking insane. And it's got 7-inch colored vinyl singles of like all the tracks. And it's got a book. It's got this really crazy box where it's got the cover. And then when you open it up, it's got a metal. The woman that's on the album cover, she's made out of metal, but she's magnetic. Yeah. And the box is a plastic box with magnetic dirt where you can like move the dirt around. Like the box set is wild. It's fucking wild. But anyways, I just wanted to get that in because if people never seen it or if you don't own it, take a look at it online. You're never going to pay it. You're never going to be able to buy it because it's going for like $1,000 on eBay. But anyway, Zeus, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
All right.
You know what I mean? That's all. I love it.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I wrote on this was I fucking love this song. Yeah. The harmonies are just awesome. And all the Layne ticks, hey, ow, hey, oh, all that shit is just
when
so
the album starts as strong as Dirt started and then ends with these 3 songs that are just
unreal.
Pummeling you and just driving you forward. It's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then just, besides the vocal ticks that he's got, I just love the way the chorus comes out completely different.
Yes.
Yeah. And I agree. I don't mind. Yeah.
The melody and the harmony is just.
It's because it's Jerry and Layne and then them together and then each separately. And it's fantastic. That fucking line that I wait for all the time in this is weight of my heart, not the size. Damn.
Yes.
I love that. Just absolutely love that lyric. And the unplugged MTV version. So it wasn't relieved on the airing on MTV Unplugged, but it was later on the album.
Yes.
And on the VHS version of it. And it's fucking Angry Chair Unplugged is just, I mean, I think I'm gushing over every fucking song that's on Unplugged because it deserves that kind of accolades because it's just incredible. Anyway, there's a video for it, of course. Weird shit performance video.
Very weird.
Just crazy stuff as always. There's that weird animal on Layne's fucking shoulder, whatever the fuck that thing's called, the little monkey thing, whatever he's got on his shoulder. But the song just dun, 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 hey, dun, oh my God, all-time classic. And then we get to the final track. Here we go.
So we finished the album with a song that we've actually already discussed, Zeus, because we reviewed the single soundtrack. So we talked about Wood before, and it's a kind of double entendre because it's written about the late, great Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone, which we reviewed Apple earlier this year. One of my all-time favorite grunge albums. God bless Andrew Wood and Mother Love Bone. That fucking band is incredible. If you listen to that album, it's no secret that this is my all-time favorite Alice in Chains song. Spoiler alert for when it comes to rankings. I just think it's different because it is like that opening bass line. The verses are very haunting. Layne is almost whispering the lyrics. And then again, when you come to the chorus, they just crash in together and blow you away. And I think it's one of the best examples of melody, harmony, and then the heavy and the soft all together. And it's just, to me, I think it's just their best song, which is kind of hard to pick because it's Alice in Chains, which is one of my all-time favorite bands, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, I love Wood. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
When it first came out on the soundtrack, it was just, again, there's something about the use of sound and the use of melody and what and it's definitely been talked about before, but the way that musically the songwriting and that Jerry and Layne and the guys have done and the way they present music is, if you took Kashmir, right, and like the way that almost looks, or Dancing Days, or the way that Zeppelin was like toying with and interested in hearing music from India or somewhere in another exotic parts of the world, right? It's like Alice in Chains improved on that and did it fucking amazingly throughout the career. They created their own identity and sound, and because the songs and the journey that the band has taken you on throughout those years is a beautiful thing. And obviously, almost completely cut short if they hadn't reformed and done great records also with William. And, you can put Check Your Brain up there with like any of us.
Oh, so good.
Love that song.
So good.
I love that song so much. It's like, but there were so many, the unique elements of every member of Alice in Chains. I mean, Sean is an incredible drummer. Michael Starr was great on here. Mike Inez is phenomenal. He's one of my favorite. And I mean, from the get-go, comes in and does Jar of Flies and comes up with the iconic bass line of fucking No Excuses immediately.
Oh, God, so good. Yeah.
Mike had played with, it's why he still plays with like Alice, and Elton John will call him up. He'll go on the road with Elton. Like, I know what Mike, very dear friend.
Yep.
Friends with him and Jerry and Sean all these years, right? And so, yeah, man. I mean, as a band, they're just truly have been one of the greatest bands, and that's why they inspired so many bands to imitate them.
Oh, yeah.
So many
like
bands.
Kiss?
Yes, exactly. So bands that have this thing that is uniquely their own, yet inspires other people to go and use that as a kind of a springboard to try and develop their own sound. But Alice were certainly like, I know that probably people did not realize how amazing they were going to be, and I think on Dirt, immediately you realize, holy shit, because I mean, certainly Facelift was a great record, but Dirt was like, I mean, it was just like this pummeling of the emotion, of the senses, but also of the heart of the challenging ideas. It was a very incredibly special record. and Stands Up is one of them. It's certainly of its era, but the songs are like in the history of rock, in the canon of music. There are so many important songs on this record that still are a big part of rock history and will go down as some of the most important songs.
Yeah. Wood, ? Jerry Cantrell made it to number 31 on U.S. mainstream rock. We already broke down this song when we did the single soundtrack a while ago. It's from the 93 film single soundtrack. I love the lyrics, Into the Flood Again. We all know that. And then, So I Made a Big Mistake. Try to See It Once My Way. Yeah. How many lyrics, like, have we don't normally do this on our album reviews.
Very rarely.
Pick out lyrics on almost every song has a lyric that hits you. It's just, Layne is just so amazing on this. In the end, I'll say there was a video. It's a performance video. We all know it. But for this song, and it's funny, I get a lot of crap about this a while back. I said at one point, when I forget who it was praising the song. And I said, yeah, it's a great song. It's not in my top 10 Alice in Chains songs. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, do you know how many great Alice in Chains songs there are?
That is shocking.
Oh, I don't have it in my top 10.
Yeah, and I get it because they have a ton of great 20, songs.
Yeah, but like for me, there's so many, and that's what the great beauty of this band is. You can find a song on any one of their albums that's a deep cut, and for some reason that song moves you.
Yep.
It's not obscure. It's not bullshit. It's just that they're so different. They're so unique, and every song that you hear has something that you might find more interesting than the next. And this is a great fucking song. But there's so many other ones out there.
I agree.
Anyways, that is Dirt. We like to end on final thoughts. Tom, give us a quick wrap up and your thoughts on the album.
Okay, so quickly, I'll just say this: the word that comes to mind, and it's cliche and it's been overused, is it's a masterpiece, and it's a masterpiece of lyrics, of emotion, of harmony, of melody, of discomfort, of emotion, of honesty. I don't know where I'm going to rank this when we eventually get to that, but I don't really know if we've come across an album like this. We've done ARC, where the album rocks so fucking hard. I mean, this is a masterpiece of metal and hard rock. And I used to think, I'm a Pantera fan. Pantera is obviously not grunge, but they were big in the 90s. Okay. Far Beyond Driven is, a lot of people say it's like the heaviest record, like the hardest, heaviest like album out there. I don't know, man. You listen to Dirt and you tell me that this is not the heaviest, most just like, it's an anvil of an album. And I just think it's a masterpiece. I know it's an overused word, but it's the only word I can think of, Matt.
I agree with you. I think it's a masterpiece. I love the record, and I think I think it delivers on so many levels. It's why it was accepted in so many areas, like from metal fans through obviously alternative and grunge fans too. But I just think if you're a rock fan, there's something for you on there. You know what I mean? I think from every era, you can find something that's extremely relatable. But again, like you guys said earlier, yeah, it's not the feel-good album of the year, but it makes me feel pretty fucking good. And that's because I love the song so much. And you know what? And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you need, and I love the record. So it makes me feel good because when I hear one of those songs, I'm like, fuck yeah. You know, I just love the record so much. So I have to agree. I think it's a masterpiece. You know what I mean? And I think that like so many other records, you get from it what you want. You take from it what you really want from a record. And
good point.
And I think that there's a lot there. And if you don't, there's like, which is kind of cool how you broke down the lyrics, because that it can just be delivered on so many levels. And if you don't want to like just deal with the stuff that's about addiction on it, and you don't want anything to do with that, you can still find great songs on there that you're relatable in a different way. You know what I mean? And I think it's really important because it's a great rock and roll record.
Yeah, you don't have to me, lyrics, pick out what you want. You can find lyrics from pop songs, rock songs, heavy metal songs, and think what you want of it. Like Freddie Mercury's gay. Do I have to be gay to like his music?
Right.
This song is about drugs and alcohol. Do I have to be a drug and alcohol addict or recovering addict to like it? No, I don't have to be any of that stuff. You can find whatever you like in any type of music. It's up to you. But you kind of said it best, Matt. You're like, I just play this and I'm like, fuck yeah. You can't explain it. There's some albums that you put on and you're like, fuck yeah. I fucking love this.
You get, like I said in the beginning, when you get hit over the head with them bones right in the beginning of this record, you're like, holy shit, it's time for a ride. We're going on a ride.
That. I had I forget what it was. I was when I was an attorney somewhere, and there was another person much younger than me. He's like, the fuck is Angry Chair? What is this shit you're listening to?
Yep.
And I'm like, you don't fucking get it. Just get the fuck out.
Dude,
like, he's like mocking
Zeus,
me like Angry Chair. What
how many friends do we have who hate this genre of music?
They can fuck themselves up.
No, I agree, because they think every song, like, okay, sorry, go listen to Dangerous Toys if you want. That's fine. God bless you. They're fine. But not every song by a grunge band is Junkhead. Okay.
But if it is, it's pretty good.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I love this album, and I think we're all in agreement about its brilliance, and it's a masterpiece of this era. It really is. Of the 90s, it's a masterpiece of this era, the grunge era, the hard rock, heavy metal era, you name it, the early 90s era, all of it, you can say. But let's do the fun part now. We're going to rank these songs. Matt, do you have an order already set up? Because we're just going to...
Yeah, I mean, it's really, again, it's one of those things where a lot of them that are, I'm going to, like, the whole first, like, or most of the, like, I would say probably the first 10 songs or whatever it is on the list, maybe, or whatever, are all things that I seriously love, at least, you know?
Yeah, we're all going to say every song we
record.
love.
Yeah, we're going to go through the ranking. So we'll just
Tom, why don't you lead us off? Number 13. What's number 13?
All right. Well, number 13 is probably everybody's number 13. It's the Untitled Iron Gland thing. So I'm pretty safe to say. Okay, so now it gets interesting when we get to number 12.
Mine too. So go ahead. 12.
Now it gets interesting because this is difficult for me, and something's got to be number 12. I'm putting Sick Man at number 12.
Okay.
Matt, what do you got?
My number 12, believe it or not, is Junkhead.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And then, all right, go ahead. And
so Zeus. 12 is, for me, Don't Shoot the Messenger, because I love this whole album, but Dirt.
Okay. That's okay. 11 for me is Godsmack.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got?
11 for me is Dirt. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. 11 for me now is Sick Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is so impossible to rank. I love all these songs, but number 10 for me is Hate to Feel.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love it.
Number 10 for me is Godsmack, right? So it's like
okay. Yep.
Yeah. All right. 10 for me is Junkhead.
Okay. 9 for me is Dirt. Matt, what do you got at 9?
9 is Sick Man for me. I actually like that song.
I do too.
It's just like the delivery of it is like so. It's
I love all these songs.
I'm gonna pick something I don't know one's picked yet so far. Rain When I Die at 9.
Ooh, at 9. Okay, well that's low. Number 8 for me, I have Junkhead at 8.
Yeah. And where did I go?
8.
This is so hard. So
it is.
8 for me. Oh man, I'm gonna have to. This is one of the hardest things to do.
Yes.
I guess 8 for me would be. I don't know. This is like because now you're getting into territory where I love all like this.
Exactly. That's why it's fun.
So I'm gonna say Down in the Hole. So I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
All right. 8 for me. Damn That River.
Ooh, wow. 7
that
for
river.
me. 7 for me. Down in a Hole.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got at 7?
For me is I'm gonna really shake things up. 7 for me. Yeah. Well, is Damn That River.
Oh, okay.
Oh, see, that wasn't that bad.
Okay.
All right, this is where I get what? 7 for me is Wood.
I know that. Look, I'm not going to argue. The rest of this album is just like a greatest hits album. So
Yeah.
6 for me is Angry Chair.
All right, 6 is Hate to Feel. I just love that song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so 6 to me would be Hate to Feel.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 for me is Rain When I Die. Matt,
Yeah.
what do you got at 5?
Yeah, 5 for me would be also Rain When I Die.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Love that, though.
Me too.
All right, so after Hate to Feel, I have Godsmack.
Really? Okay. Good for you.
I love that song.
Okay. Number 4 for me is Rooster.
Yeah. Number 4 for me is Rooster, too.
Okay.
4 for me is Down in a Hole.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 for me is Damn That River.
Yeah, I love that. 3 for me is Wood. Yeah,
Okay.
3 for me is Rooster.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 for me is Them Bones.
Yeah, 2 for me is Angry Chair. It's just like,
Okay.
oh, why? I mean, I just love it. It's so,
It's a great song.
but
Yeah. Zeus, what do you got at 2?
I feel like today when I did this,
I know. Well, these rankings are accurate for 7:55 p.m. Eastern time right now. They'll change as soon as
we always say when we do this, what's your favorite right now?
Right now.
Like, meaning
Yeah,
it's going
exactly.
to change tomorrow.
Yep.
So I have the 2, and I can literally flip a coin which one I like more.
Me too.
So I'll just go with Angry Chair 2.
Okay. And then my number 1 is Wood. Matt, what do you got at number 1? Well, you guys got the same number 1s.
Number 1 is Them Bones, and it opens the record as one of the most pummeling album openers of all time.
I'm with you, brother.
And I got that at number 2. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty
Fucking
good.
love it. How much of a kick-ass opening song is Them
It's just one of
Bones?
the greatest. It's
Yep.
like
Oh, fucking great. Well, Matt, we can't thank you enough for doing this with us. But before we let you go, we want to ask you real quickly your thoughts on the passing of Ace Frehley.
I was very sad about that. Getting to interview Ace last year was a great opportunity. Having gotten to sing with him and Gene and Peter is still one of my life's highlights. I just because Kiss is such an important band to me.
Yeah.
So much, and because they were such a big part of my identity as a teenager. And as a young man, I felt my manhood through Kiss and rock and roll and bands like Kiss. Kiss were so important to me that to get to sing with Ace playing guitar, playing bass, and Peter Criss playing drums was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It's on that list of things that I go, I can't believe I actually did that. Holy shit. That
is so awesome.
And Ace has always been a kind man with an incredible sense of humor, an influential guitar player, a great guitar player, great songs. I love the man. I loved him. And, and that was the thing. So all my interactions with him were always positive. Plus, he was, I'll never forget one of the greatest moments that it's always stayed in my heart was when we were doing those songs. I was doing the songs with Kiss, and I did Rock Bottom, Do You Love Me 100,000 Years in that order.
Awesome.
I wanted to hear Ace rip that lead. I will never forget, I'm sitting by Tommy Thayer, like Tommy, because Tommy's like, I didn't want to, overstay my welcome singing the songs, but Gene and those guys were like, fuck, you can sing. So they did Deuce, and then Ace gets on the microphone, and he walks up to it, and he goes, hey, Matt, you should come sing with us more often. You lit a fire under our ass.
Oh, man, that is so cool.
That was a moment I'll never forget, And, but I loved him. He was a hero to so many, an absolute hero. And the reason many of my friends who became guitar heroes picked up their first guitar, Ace was that catalyst for that. Therefore, he will continue to give to music as he always has. So it broke my heart, Yeah. And he's just, just a guy. I hope he really did know how much people loved him and cared about him. Because certainly that part was amazing. But it was a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah. Lastly, I got to ask you before we go into our last segment. And MTV went off the air.
Yeah.
It's been off the air for me for a long time anyway. But you see, if you see I don't know if the MTV if one of the digital channels still exists, but
I just saw that that's what in the news said. MTV signs off.
But I think it was mostly MTV, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that was Europe. I just don't know. I mean,
I thought it ended here. So no more road rules reruns or something. I don't know.
Well, I stopped watching it years ago.
Oh, we all did.
Yes.
Like to me, when he stopped showing videos after the second run I did of 120 minutes when it came back for a little while.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a fun time, but it was pretty obvious to me that there was no longer a commitment to music, which was what brought me there. And, obviously being there changed my life. It's changed. And I believe it changed a lot of people's lives, but it's, to me, it was like, it's already gone, it's just like,
I agree.
How are they going to do the MTV Music Awards?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you want to know the truth. I mean, my friend Van Toffler produced it this year. They did the best in a while. Van had been there when I first got there. He's a dear friend of mine. They brought him back in to produce the VMAs, which is why you got the Ozzy tribute. You know what I mean? But I just think I love rock and roll and I love music. And, there hasn't been a presence there in a long time. And I think, yes, you'll probably agree. And, I didn't know how you could have an award show when you don't show videos.
Right.
They never got that necessarily. But I'm grateful for every moment that I had on the air there.
Well, that's how we found you, right? That's how you.
That's how we discovered you, and now
that's how
we
discovered a lot of these bands through MTV.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful for that. So it being gone, I mean, let's be honest. The thing that was special about it was a destination. And it was a place of curation, whether it was the 80s when the hair metal thing was taking off or whether it was 90s grunge, whatever it was, it drove pop culture.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Drove music.
It defined it.
Concentrating on music, it no longer had the significance. You know what I mean?
You remember all that. The Durans, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince. And then you got into the 80s, Bon Jovi and all them took off. And then you get into the Nirvana and them. And then you had the boy band explosion. All those. And everybody went on MTV or, the countdowns and the early shows. And
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, my God. It impacted everything.
It should, we should say we should be grateful that we were there for a time when you had a destination.
Yes.
Now, you know what I mean? Like there's so much noise, but there's a lot of great stuff as usual. Like I love what you guys do and I love your podcast, but because there's so many podcasts, I found ones that I really love. Yours is one of them. And then others, there's just a lot of noise. So I think that was the magic of the early days of MTV, that it was a collective experience that no longer exists.
No,
it's too bad.
It's too bad. Yep.
That's the shame. That's the loss that I think the generations today never got to experience. You know what I mean? They've got their own things, which whether that's TikTok or whatever, but I don't know, man. I'm grateful we had that. I thought it was cool that there was a place you could go to find out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Glad to have been a part of that experience for people. Very grateful.
You should be, because you're the man.
Yes.
We're so lucky to have you on to talk about the music that we love here. But before we go, Zeus.
Oh yeah. Before we go, we got to ask you this important question. Let's start off with Tom. Tom, what makes you rock hard?
God, I wish we could change the name of this segment, but that's okay. So what's making me rock hard this month is I got to give a shout out to one of our best and dearest friends of the show, and I want to keep pushing his book, and that is the great James Campion. I am right in the middle of his brand new Prince book that came out in August. It's called Revolution, Prince, the Band, the Era. I love Prince. I love to read James's books, and I'm telling you, this is just spectacular. I've read some other Prince books before. The way James tells a story, the way he keeps you engrossed in what's going on. And for me, who just loves Prince, this is like a double whammy. So I can't stress this enough. Even if you're not a huge Prince fan, just if you're into rock bios and music books, It's an incredible story. You really peel back the curtain and get into the mind of Prince, what kind of an absolute wizard and a genius of a guy he was. So check that book out.
Okay. Matt.
Yeah. You know what makes me rock hard today is the fact that I got out of bed, which is great. But no, I want to plug my friend Greg Prado's new book.
We love Greg.
Greg is
been
great.
on the show.
Yes, Greg is fantastic. He's got this great new book, Alternative for the Masses: The '90s Alt Rock Revolution and Oral History.
Wow.
And I'm going to be part of that and in that, and it's Greg's written a lot of great books, and
he's great.
So. This book is about to be released. If it's not released already, I mean, I know it's like within days, or it's this week or something. It's coming out, or it just came out.
Well, we might have to have Greg back on the show to talk about this, because that's fair. He's been on before.
Here it is. It's his new book, and this I'm excited about.
Perfect.
Got to tell you. And you know what? I get up every day, and I put on some music, some vinyl. I put on the radio because I'm on the radio in Los Angeles every day. Like I'm on. KCSN, which is it's the public station that like Joe Walsh, Tom Hanks, and Ringo Starr actually are major donors and subsidize that station.
Oh wow!
So I played Kiss. I get to play Kiss next to everything. Like it's whatever. So like I played Coming Home, like because I love it so much.
Yep.
I played it a couple days ago. I played obviously some Ace after Ace passed, but. I play everything imaginable, including new, like what they'd call, like artists that are like, it's just really diverse. And I play shit.
That's awesome.
Now on that station, I'm also on KLOS, the rock station in LA. I'm still on KLOS. And then I have a syndicated show, depending on where you are and watch this. I do a show called Flashback. I've been doing for approximately how many years is it now? What's going on? 15.
Nice.
It's on every weekend on like 200 FM stations in America.
Wow.
Over in Europe too. So in North America, it's about 200 stations. And I do that. It's a classic rock history show, like I've been doing for many years. And then I'm on KLOS. I do my show Saturday, and then I have KCSN. So. Man, I'm grateful. For a guy who they said was never going to speak or walk again, you guys see me out on my social media doing 12,000 steps, even though I can't feel my right side completely.
Love it, Matt. God bless, man.
I'm a fighter, and that's
you absolutely are. You are a warrior, my man. Yep.
And that's the thing. But I love you guys, and it was great to be able to share the experience with you today of talking about Dirt, a record I love, and I was with Jerry Cantrell the night before my stroke, actually.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Bowling over here.
Wow.
Well, make sure he listens to this because it's a lot of praise for him.
Yeah.
Hey, last thing I want to add in, it was something that I enjoyed. I think this is a series. It's a documentary on Netflix. It's called The Rise of Hollywood's Titans.
Okay.
And it's a 6-part reenacting filled with historical facts and then people acting out the stuff. And it's really fascinating because I didn't know the real story of Hollywood and how movies started getting produced and who the founding of like MGM, Warner Brothers, Universal, and how they were fighting with Edison to be able to get these rights to put in movies. And it was a big monopoly and they weren't able to do movies and all the backwards dealings of how to get actors and then the silent movies and then into the talkies. Fascinating stuff. 6-part series on Netflix. It's called Titans, The Rise of Hollywood. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Great acting. Documentary style too in between. So it's a lot of fun. Listen, Matt, we just want to say we can't thank you enough. We got to say a shout out to our friend Tim because he'll ask for us about
Tim
it.
Angioni is great and he's a brother.
Matt, a huge thanks. It's a thrill that we have this kind of relationship. It's a thrill for us that we can have you that was so much part of this time in music to have you on here to talk about this album that we absolutely all love. It's been a treat and an honor. I know our listeners are going to love this episode to hear from you. So my friend, Matt, thank you so much, brother. You are the man, and God bless and keep kicking ass. We love seeing your social media posts about your progress, and we wish you nothing but the best. You are the best, man.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Zeus. Love you guys. Thank you. I love what you're doing, and man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be alive every day. You know what I mean? I know.
Thank you.
For all those people, when I was in that coma, the collective prayer was a beautiful thing that meant the world to me.
Yes.
I found out there was all that love and support, because it's weird when you wake up and you're like, holy shit, what happened in my last 2 months of my life? Where was I? That's a very, very different place to be.
Amazing.
But I'm alive and
we want to keep you that way, brother.
Yeah.
Right.
God bless my friend.
Thank you.
Oh, God bless you guys. And
God bless.
thank you for everything, guys. Again. All right.
Anytime, Matt.
Thank you.
You're welcome here anytime, Matt. Tom, that was the great Matt Pinfield. Man, he had some personal stories and nice insight into the band. And it's just so crazy because the stuff he was even telling us off the air, like how well he knows them, and Eddie Vedder, and he's just hanging out with him. And the poor guy went through so much, and we're glad to see he's healthy enough and back on his feet. And we said this to him off the air. When we heard about where Ace was at, we were praying that basically what happened to Matt could happen to Ace.
Yes.
I mean, Matt, we heard he wasn't coming out of it. He was in a coma. You heard him say it for a couple months.
Yeah.
And he pulled through. And so we were hoping we'd hear that good news about Ace. And unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, but we're glad we have Matt here.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, just first of all, growing up with his career, learning about this band, knowing the band, the album, playing it when it came out, breaking some of the videos and the songs as him as a radio DJ. It's a pretty serious episode in the history of ARC, but that's what makes it fun and interesting, and that's why we couldn't have anybody other than Matt to join us for it.
Yeah. All right, Tom, now we get to the hard part.
Yes, we do.
So first we're going to rank the album cover. Can you tell everybody what your top 5 is right now? Yes.
So for my album covers, they are number 5. I have Rage Against the Machine, Blizzard of Oz, Purple Rain, Master of Puppets, Diary of a Madman. I love this cover. I love the colors. I love that orange and just that creepy crack desert, the scary woman, like we talked about, her eyes being open, looking up into the sky. I'm actually going to put this pretty friggin' high. I'm putting this at 6.
Wow.
Yes.
Number 6.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
For me, it's moving pictures and underneath Rage.
Yes. It's the colors plus the imagery just pop out at me. I just love it. Yep.
I hear you, buddy.
Yep.
All right. So my top 5 is Diary of a Madman, Appetite for Destruction, Blizzard of Oz, Hotel California, Elvis, NBC TV special. Where am I putting Dirt? I'm going to put it at number 18, underneath Once Bitten, because I love that girl. She's gorgeous.
Yep.
And above White Snake, 87.
Okay.
So that's where I have Dirt. Tom, let's go over now to the hardest part, and that is we're going to rank this album compared to the other albums.
Okay.
Give us your top 5.
Okay, my top 5 right now, I have High and Dry, Shout at the Devil, Purple Rain, Moving Pictures, and Master of Puppets. Now, I'm going to be honest with you here. As we speak, right now, in real time, I'm changing my rankings because I've been changing this ranking for a month since I picked it. I don't know what to do here because a lot of my albums are nostalgic that I have ranked up high, and they're from the 80s. I've been listening to them for 40 plus years. The thing about Dirt, I have no nostalgia. I just have straight love for it. There's no connection to it, right? No childhood connection, no college connection. It's just the greatness of the album. So unfortunately, for the way I rank it, because there's really no nostalgia and everything above it has it, that's my psychotic brain is going to penalize it for that, which I know it's stupid. Bear with me. I'm going to put this at number 5.
Whoa, that high?
Yeah. Do you know that a couple weeks ago, this was almost number 1? Wow. I'm putting this at number 5. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, my top 5, Purple, Blizzard of Oz, Automatic for the People, Hotel California, and Elvis, NBC TV special.
Yep.
So I love this album. I do. Okay.
Yep. But
But I mean, my top, like, really 30, I fucking love.
Yeah, it's tough. This was not easy, dude. But this album, to me, this is one of the rare, like, perfect albums that we've talked about on ARC. And Alice in Chains is like third or fourth favorite band of all time. So it was a little bit easier for me.
I mean, there are certain songs that I love on this album. There are others that I like. I don't hate anything on this album.
Right.
So you may find this surprising. I'm going to go with 32.
Oh, whoa. What?
And I love this album. Yeah.
32?
Yeah.
Wow. That's shocking to me, dude. I thought you would have that way higher.
No.
Wow. Okay.
No.
Okay. Wow. Gee, I don't know what's more shocking, mine at 5 or you at 32. Damn.
And I love the album.
No, I know you do.
But like, there are certain songs here and albums that I'm like looking at it. I know we made our changes. You're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna change them again.
Why not? You know what? I think that's fair. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, why, every time we introduce a new album, why not? It's our list. I have no problem with that being fluid. Nobody said it needs to be, etched in stone.
I find certain albums are top heavy. That I'm like, okay, other than these 4 songs, the rest of the album I like.
Yep.
But there are certain albums I just love all the way through.
Yeah. No, we each have our own personal kind of grading scale. I agree. I agree. Yep.
Well, yeah. So that's Dirt. So now, Tom, tell people where they can find us.
Yeah, so we are Shout It Out Loudcast. If this is your first time listening to us, we are usually an all-Kiss podcast that records and drops Kiss episodes every Saturday. And then once a month, we do these album review crew episodes where we get a third man in, like Matt Pinfield, and review a non-Kiss album. You can find us at shoutitoutloudcast.com. You can email us at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on all the socials. We're very, very active. We have other sidecasts, Dorm Damage, Zeppelin Chronicles. But please check us out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, et cetera, et cetera. We're very active on all of them. And we talk about everything, not just Kiss. So please follow us on socials and join the party. And we always like to say that we're a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Tom, want to end on famous last words? What do you got?
Oh, boy. God, what do I want to do here? Okay. Seems so sick to the hypocrite norm running their boring drills. But we are an elite race of our own. The stoners, junkies, and freaks.
Ooh. Saw my reflection and cried, hey. So little hope that I died. Oh, feed me your lies open wide. Hey, weight of my heart, not the size. Oh, Matt Pinfield, Loudcasters, Dirt Tards, Kiss Army, Tom, thank you.
Matt Pinfield, huge thanks, brother. Great episode. Thank you so much for having us. Loudcasters, Godsmack Tards, Heroin Tards, Junkhead Tards, Rooster Tards, Grunge Tards, and Zeus, as always, my friend. Thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout.